We'll get the show on the road. Okay, it is Tuesday,
Okay.
April 5th, 2022. We'll call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Born and unborn.
Okay, minutes and reports received and filed.
Yes, we have several.
Okay.
We've got the Recorder of Deeds March 2022 fees, County Clerk's March 2022 fees, and the Auditor's March Revenue and Expenditure Report.
Okay. Commissioner Committee Liaison reports, upcoming meetings and events.
I've got the meeting with the auditors this afternoon. Hopefully we've got everything we need for that. Cole County Communities, Thursday.
No, they post, it's the second Thursday through May, I think, because of
Somebody needs to
leadership
update-
Jeff City.
Somebody needs to update my calendar.
Yeah,
Guess that'd be me.
be next week.
All right. I'll change that, maybe, or next month you can remind me again. Cole County Extension meeting, Thursday, 5:30. And then Chamber Coffee, I think, is Friday at 8, or 7:30, 7:30.
Now Friday coffee's 9.
Man,
It is Gary Hill with Lincoln University.
9 o'clock, who can make a 9 o'clock meeting? Okay,
Okay.
I think that's about it. Now I have to change my whole calendar.
I have a meeting tomorrow with the 4 school superintendents that have schools in Cole County.
Okay, I've got to meet tomorrow with one of our elected officials. Thursday is traffic and safety at 8. Thursday is also a Stars and Stripes Wreath Lane over at the Veterans Memorial and then luncheon. Friday morning, we have a 911 meeting from 8 to 9 at City Hall. And then Friday coffee at 9 a.m. Okay. That is all I've got. We're going to deviate from our agenda, and we are going to go to the proclamation for the Cole County Health Department recognizing National Public Health Week, April 4th through the 10th. So if, Christy, you want everybody to come up, or how do you want to do this? And you know, when you go back, we will also have some liquid refreshments. That's why Bernie's here. So there will be liquid refreshments there for the whole day. I think that's why you're here, right, Bernie?
Absolutely.
Sam Bushman, Bushman.
I said,
Are you gonna read it?
sure.
At least read.
Okay. Proclamation by the Cole County Commission. Settle down.
You want to stand up here and back, you
The
can.
Cole County Health Department recognizes National Public Health Week, April 4th through the 10th, 2022, by promoting this year's national theme, Public Health is Where You Are. In Cole County, we celebrate, staff, and advocate for health, creative, innovative partnerships, and champion the role of a strong public health system. So then you said I need to read. Whereas today's theme is public health workforce, essential to our future, and public health professionals help communities prevent, prepare for, withstand, and recover from the impact of a full range of health threats, including emerging diseases, natural disasters, and disasters caused by human activity. Whereas, now therefore we, the Cole County Commission, by virtue of the authority vested in us by the law of Missouri, do hereby proclaim the week of April 4th through the 10th, 2022, as National Public Health Week 2022.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is
I say, do we need to scoot some people this way?
Bring some people up front.
Come on up here.
Come on, Joe, I'll leave my
Over there, Clark, yeah.
I'll my arm around you.
Sorry.
And you'll have some medicinal things out at the health department later, Mr. Bechtel?
I heard we're able to do that on Thursday, so right?
Hey, this is a whole week.
See you
so-
Thursday.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay, and we are still going to deviate a little bit because we have next, is it the signing of the proclamation? No, approval and signing agreement with Patagonia Health for additional pharmacy. Then we will get Christie out of the way, and not that we want to get rid of her.
No, I want to be at the Capitol. So this is an addition to our electronic health record. It's called the pharmacy app. So it'll help us electronically have an inventory of the medicine that we dispense for sexually transmitted diseases, or like our vials that we use for the to do TB tests. Right now, we keep track of them on paper. This will be
Hold on. Hey, guys, trying a meeting here.
This will be an electronic way to inventory that medicine. It'll alert us when we're getting low, just a little bit more accountability for those medications that we do keep on hand. And it's an additional $65 per month. Right now, we're paying for our electronic health record out of the ELC ED contract. On a regular basis, it comes out of the IT budget.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep. He's got it, never mind.
Oh, all right, make motion to sign the agreement with Patagonia Health.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, was that the only two things you had?
Thank you.
Okay, then we're still gonna deviate, we're gonna put Brian on, because he has to go over to 209. So the approval of EMS computer equipment ThinkPad for EMS Capital. Oh. I'm just, Brian said I have to be at 209.
So, in our capital budget for this year, we identified the need to replace some of our IT infrastructure. So this is 6 laptops that will replace the current Toughbook laptops that we have. Those are very expensive to maintain and are kind of reaching the end of their usability as far as what we need it for an office setting. We'll transition those into the ambulances where they can be used as the mobile computers that for mapping and the stuff that they use them for while responding to calls. 3 desktop computers that will allow us to replace some aging ones, and then some replacement and warranty coverage. So this was in our capital budget for this year. I believe this quote comes out to about $1,800 under budget, so we're just asking that you approve this today.
Yep. Good. We just need approval, or we gotta sign a contract?
Just need approval.
So.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve the EMS computer equipment ThinkPad from EMS Capital.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we will go back to our agenda. Do we have any commission comments? Bids and contracts. Bid award for 2022-15 concrete repair service.
For 2022-15 concrete repair services, we had multiple vendors submit a response. Our recommendation is to go with the lowest and best bid with available material. Do you guys have the bid tab attached?
No, I don't have the. Okay.
And these came in a little under engineer's estimate, true?
We didn't, actually, we did not have an engineer's estimate. This is just for concrete services. a little bit of an on-call type of situation. The prices are all over the board, and our goal would be to select the lowest
Okay.
contractor based on availability.
I was confusing that with another concrete coming up at some point.
The Greenway or the trail
Yes, that's
connector,
it.
Yeah, that's separate.
That's later, okay, got
Okay.
it.
I'm good.
I'll offer a motion to approve the concrete repair services bid award 2022-15.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bid award for 2022-14 elevator maintenance and repair services.
For the elevator maintenance and repair services, we had 3 vendors submit a response. All 3 of the vendors came in at the same annual cost of $15,600. Greg's recommendation is to go with the Otis elevator with the annual cost of $15,600. Do you guys have a bid tab for this one?
Yeah, sorry Debbie, I wasn't able to find, I opened yours up under the one you emailed instead of the one on the side, so.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, because I think the one we had actually didn't really provide the service they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have
I don't have a contract.
okay,
We just need to do a bid award.
Bid award today.
okay.
Who was it?
Otis.
Otis.
Otis, okay.
And this is a change from the existing contract,
Yes.
right? Okay.
All right, I'll make a motion to award the bid to Otis Elevator Company for elevator maintenance and repair services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, do we have any unfinished business?
I got 2 things real quick. On the bicycle racks, Melissa identified 3 places, one in front of the annex, one a little more in front of the courthouse, and one on the west side of the courthouse, correct?
Yeah,
For
David and I
oh,
met Friday
okay.
and looked at areas, and he suggested those locations.
Yeah, and
Okay.
they've got some bike racks that were previously used somewhere else, so unless do y'all want to see this map, y'all can look at if you
No.
got a question on it. And then we're looking at one other place here on the side for employee parking possibly, so
Okay.
we'll bring that one back up when we make sure that we've got things measured up and they fit without encroaching on the other parking places. And then Judy had wanted to talk about some old business with what we're doing with recorder's files, so that's gonna.
Well, I added
back
that
up.
to next week's agenda.
I don't know if we need to wait till next week. It's unfinished business. We can talk about it today. It's just,
If that's acceptable here.
so,
Am I?
it's unfinished business. We've talked about it before, so it's unfinished business is why I was gonna bring it up. So,
That's fine.
Is the bike rack thing okay? to
Yes.
Let David know? Okay.
Yeah,
okay, yeah. So,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Checking here on some quotes until we have something available at the county for proper storage for these records. So the history of it is, years ago, we had 2 storage units, which was paid for out of the county's general revenue fund. It was put into the microfilm line item for the recorder's budget, account number 53266. We can verify that with Kristen if we need to. I thought we were on track to store them at 209 Adams. There have been some issues along the way. Christy needs the storage unit back at the health department. I completely understand that. I apologize to her it's taken this long. But I can't just throw them in a building that it has mold, that has water, that is unprotected. So my suggestion is to go ahead and rent the storage unit 1 at the $49.95 per month until we have something doable and protective by statute of these records. I can go into a lot of history, but I didn't think it was necessary.
I'm gonna go after our meeting today, I do want to go look at both of the spaces we were talking about. So I think if we can just keep them there at the health department for a week or so, we need to make a decision. And renting a storage unit for a month or 2 months doesn't make a lot of sense either, so.
And I understand that. Yesterday morning, I was completely derailed with when they were taken from the health department. They were put in that old lawnmower room where it smells like gas and oil and it's dirty. I spent a lot of time coordinating, organizing, inventorying them, and putting them out of the health department when I was asked to do that. So
Well, if we can
completely-
clean up that one's right next to your office.
It doesn't matter how close it is, it matters the climate control and the cleanliness.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that could be
We can
cleaned
leave it
up,
there and sit on the
it is
floor,
climate
use it.
control, but let us look,
So Audrey, why are we going away from the original plan of putting them at Adams Street?
well, that's what I
guess
wanna
is
go
don't-
see today,
Why did we change
what we
that?
were looking at,
So
and,
we initially didn't have any problems with it. We talked about putting it down here, then there wasn't gonna be enough
That's what I
room.
was waiting for, was for that to
Yeah.
get ready.
So-
And
Yeah.
then for maintenance, per Greg, that room, it gets wet. So.
At Adams?
I haven't
What room
heard
gets wet?
At Adams?
209 Adams.
We've got CV jumping.
All right, you need to come up to the microphone, Greg.
This is what I was told yesterday morning.
So the water was supposed to
And I
be
wasn't even aware.
remediated, and supposedly we didn't have any water leaks in there anymore. We found some with the gutters last week. That was taken care of.
Yes.
Thank God, because that was in the new area we just redid, drop ceiling, new carpet and everything, so. So is there any other leaks coming in Adams off that
If you
alleyway?
can get rid of Dancer's Alley building, that'll solve the rest of your water. That water coming off that roof is coming right on the backside of that building.
and I think that is actually one of the buildings that the city is talking about doing something too, so. But I think,
Whatever decision we come up with, just, I thought putting it downstairs, we mopped it out, we swept it out. It was right there gonna be, it was climate controlled, it had an alarm on the door, that way those records protected. I am sorry, Judy, I did not know I was supposed to talk to you about before we did this. I was told to get them moved because Christie needed her spot. That's what I was doing, all right?
Well, whoever's records you're moving, you should probably communicate with and let them know what's going on. That's probably the biggest problem. If we would've known a little more, we could've looked at the spots. If you wanted to change it back there, she could've looked at it. I was told that it wouldn't fit in there. We had pictures of it, we had the dimensions of all of it, and Steve was gonna share the spot. Both places are secure, they get locked up. But we wanna look at putting fencing possibly in Adams, chain link fencing like we have at, the Emergency Services Building.
We don't have any
So-
chain link out there no more.
It's all down?
Yep,
So where did it go? I mean, we can use it.
it's
So,
gone.
It's all out of that. All this stuff for the state courts, files are gone. All them boxes are gone?
The boxes aren't gone, but the chain link fences.
Okay. So, I mean, that's secure over there too. We got cameras, locks. So,
yeah, so I'm gonna go look at both of those, but I can't see renting you're saying a 5-foot unit would also work. Yeah, they're not that big of boxes, so we just need to figure out where we wanna put
It's
them.
not just the boxes, there's a big file, there are about 208 or 9 boxes. And there is a big file cabinet full of film. There are 4 boxes that are probably, I don't know what size they are, they're bigger than what the paper comes in. They are filled with rolls of film, they are very heavy. So it's not just the 208 boxes
Okay.
that the microfilm is in, which there are quite a few. It's not about being heavy, but it's all of the lifting, and it took me, I moved them there myself, I organized them myself, it took me all day to do that. And when they were put, as far as the room that Steve said I could use, the space, I didn't have that whole wall. I just had a limited amount of space. Therefore, there wasn't enough room. And as far as yesterday morning.
Can
when
you get
they
all
were
this in a
remo-
5-foot by 5-foot room?
I have to go look at that. I believe
Okay.
so. I went there and got
well-
quotes yesterday after everything was happening, just so I would have a backup plan to make a recommendation.
How often do you go into the,
I don't
These
think that's the
files.
issue here. I want to stay on track of what the issue is.
okay,
I've got a question. Where are the records now?
Back at the health department, I
Okay.
intercepted them yesterday.
Okay, that's where they are now.
Yes.
They could be moved to a storage unit for as much as $90 a month.
Yes, sir.
Why don't we do that? And during this month, we either find that the old lawnmower room, we need to quit calling it the lawnmower room because they're not there anymore, right? Is that correct? Can that be refurbished because it does have the other features that you need, lock, climate control. It does have the closeness issue, I mean, not issue, but feature.
Closeness isn't an issue, and
Well, it's not an issue, but it's a feature.
yes.
Would you rather be able to walk 5 feet, or would you rather walk 500 feet?
I think the most important thing for me,
We asked, would
I
you?
would rather walk 5 feet.
Okay,
of course.
I said it's a feature.
Yes,
It's not a requirement.
Okay.
I mean, it's been a couple miles away
correct.
for years, some period of time. Okay.
20 years.
I would leave them at the health department then until we make a decision, because I don't know if you can rent a storage
Well,
unit for 1 month.
Well, you can. I mean, they're all over the place.
Harry, that heavy,
But you got to move them, maybe you're going to have to move them twice. But
Yeah.
That's okay.
if Christie can handle them for the month during this, or some period of time, fixed period of time, either these other places will work for you or they won't.
Okay.
And if they won't, then we got to stay with a storage or go to a storage.
Yeah, but before we do a storage, I'd like to look at both of these options.
Well, Chrissy would like the room as soon as possible.
Yeah.
At the health department, they can use the room. But if we need another month, that's fine. But it was originally supposed to be done at 209 Adams. I don't know why it got switched up. And that's what was aggravating yesterday, and was all this was coming up, that we went away from the plan. And why? Why did it get changed up? Nobody knew about it. I didn't know,
Right,
you didn't know.
correct.
I've been working with Greg on the 209 Adams. We got a ton of room over there. There's no reason why it can't be put over there.
so I figure for convenience for her to walk 5 feet instead of 500, like Harry just said. Okay?
I thought she just said that she wasn't worried about convenience, if it's gonna smell like lawnmowers and
Okay, that's fine.
whatever, so. But it's still, before you change it, wouldn't you go talk to the person? You want people to come and move stuff out of your house just without you knowing? I mean, you're gonna show up and move stuff, or to do any job. I mean, it's just a little communication is all that was needed here.
I apologize.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll come up with something
Okay.
and get back to you.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay,
All right, thanks.
okay. Any other unfinished business? New business, accounts payable review.
Ask for approval of accounts payable pending review.
Motion to approve accounts payable pending review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion of Pringer Family Center building, which I assume that is where Judge is.
Right on time.
We appreciate you standing between the adoptions and the cripples. I think I'll let Toby give you all the details part of this, but what we're here today is to ask for the money to get a architect's review of the facility. Short of the matter is, Prager's been here for a few years. It does not qualify with the existing standards as a detention facility. With the raise the age to 18, we've located and identified additional issues with respect for detention. And we have a building that I think we still have heat and air conditioning issues for the staff. And what and I'll let Toby go into more detail about that, but we're asking for is authority for money to get an Architects Alliance to study it and to give us an idea of, are we talking about $500,000 or $20 million? So, Ms. Toby?
I believe I sent all three of you and Debbie the information from Architects Alliance. I have a copy for anybody else who needs one. I have one extra one. Anybody?
I don't see it attached on there, but I got the email, so I'm fine.
So what we're asking for, and there was a specific list that was sent to them that would be consistent with what the other detention facilities utilize and would bring us into compliance with the detention standards. We are currently doing single bed units, so we have 3 beds. This would take it to 6 beds. We have 7 beds that we utilize on non-secure. We would renovate those. Those are currently double, are able to house 2 children in each room, but we would only keep 1. We only do keep 1 now. So we would be able to reduce the space for each of those rooms and take it to 6. We would add a large muscle area in the secure facility portion, so we don't have to take the children out to, they're required to have 1 hour of large exercise per day. Right now we have to take them out to the the fenced basketball area, so this would eliminate that. I believe that the estimate provided by Architects Alliance is $16,500.
So if we don't do this, then what's gonna happen? Where do we have to take the kids to?
This is for the architect to give us an idea of what it would cost to make sure we're in compliance for now and the future. So all this is just the architect, but.
Right.
This is like what we do with the sheriff on his shell space. So it's the same thing, just a different property.
Yeah.
I've got it here, thank you.
Yeah,
So-
I'm fine with it.
I mean, we've met with this on, before, Toby, and we went through some of this. I can't explain it all either, but if we don't do this, we're gonna run into problems. We're gonna have to pay somebody to run a detention, we're gonna have to run our kids to other areas.
So we're statutorily required as a first-class county to have a detention facility. And the issue that we're gonna run into if we try and move children is that there is no place to move them to. There's currently a facility, certified youth are required to be held in juvenile detention facilities now, and they have one that's still in a jail north because they can't find any place to put the child. So there's not enough space now that the age is 18, and there's not enough staff where there is space. So there's nowhere to take them if we don't house them ourselves.
In your offices and because you have 2 different things you're dealing with there between the detention and the housing. And the staff are all in one area, so it would just make sense to clean it up and make it comply with standards. I think when you look at it, it's not gonna be a pretty picture. It's always kind of been our little stepchild over there, the Pringer Center, so I think we move with this. I think when you start looking at possible grants for it too.
Yeah, there's federal
There's
money
some
out
stuff
there.
out there right now.
And your price is much less than what we're paying architects for the sheriff. We should have had you negotiate the jail.
I've been quiet today.
I know, but
What scares us.
yes, I'm
Thanks a lot,
fine.
Toby.
Are you good? Okay,
Okay, yeah.
proceed.
Okay,
Thank you.
then we'll get whatever they need and get it over here to you
Yes, yes.
to get started.
Yes, you have our blessing.
Okay, okay, we can do that. Well, thank you again for fitting us in, and
All right, glad you can make it
we'll let you
today.
go pick on the sheriff now.
You could use this as the contract, and has an approval
Oh,
spot on it.
On the third page,
oh,
it's got the dollar amount in there.
May I see a copy? Thank you.
I'm sorry, Jill.
How about you let us know if this won't work,
Okay.
okay? And then we'll get something different if this doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, if you need more time, otherwise we
After
can
Jill.
approve it pending review
Yeah.
by Jill.
okay.
Thank you.
Should we do a motion here?
It won't take long.
But, I mean, we could do it pending.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Architects Alliance, reference TAA project number 2114, contingent upon our attorney's approval.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Discussion of natural gas for 2022.
All right, well, I sent you guys an email on this.
Yes.
We kind of ventured out on this back in 2014 about using Ameren's lines and going out and getting our own natural gas and bidding that process out. We did it in 16 and we did it in 19. We only have the one vendor who's ever bid on this lately. And then they did send us a letter in March saying they were getting out of the business at the end of June. So basically, we won't have a carrier to help us with that anymore. So it made us go back and look at what we actually saved on our buildings. We have 4 buildings that we use this through. The big one is the law enforcement building. So we looked at that one. You know, it's all about when you buy that gas, how you hedge it. You really have to watch it. You really have to study it and know what you're doing when you're going out there and getting your gas ahead of time. And kind of anticipating what the weather's going to be like for that winter, you know. So actually last year in the law enforcement center, if we would have went ahead and stayed with Ameren versus going with Pro Energy, we would have been $2,278 ahead if we would have just left it with Ameren instead of going out on our own and buying our own gas. Does that happen every year? Probably not. I say we have saved some money over the past years, but keep in mind, this requires us to pay Ameren to use their lines to transfer. It also requires us to get a dedicated phone line on each one of those meters. That's a total of about $2,000 a year. So at this point, since that carrier is going out and it's been the only carrier for the last couple of years that have been on it, I suggest we just go back to Ameren for our natural gas purchases. And then if we want to look at it again in a couple of years, we could do so. I don't know what you guys feel about it or what Greg feels about it.
I'm good with it. I think it's a wash when we do it. I don't know, when they presented it the first time, it seemed like it was gonna be a good way to save some money either way. But it's not like the salt, if we have extra salt, we don't have to buy as much the next year, so I'm good with it.
The county is not at risk for some exorbitant spike unless Ameren gets the okay from the PSC. Is that right? So I think a neighboring county really got hammered a year or two ago. I mean, to the millions of bucks, I think. Yes.
Callaway, yeah.
I didn't mention the name. I just said neighboring county. Okay.
Neighboring county,
As
yes.
far as I know, that's all controlled by
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So what does it take?
basically, we'll let the Ameren know that we're going back to them and we'll let the other company know there's no need to transfer it anywhere because they're going out of business the end of June. So we'll let it go till the end of June and then we'll do that.
Okay.
Then we'll cancel the phone lines and stuff, so whatever additional costs we have will go away too. Okay?
All right.
No.
Okay. County collector to present the annual settlement for 2021 year.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
As we do every year, this is my annual settlement. The collector's year ends on February 28th. We had total charges of about $98.5 million and our collections of about $94.3 million that were collected and distributed. We have about $3.5 million in delinquencies, about $270,000 that was abated, and about $441,000 that was protested. This breaks out on the 3 pages. The top page is basically a summary of everything. The second page is the current year charges and collections, and the third page is the delinquent charges and collections, as well as the other, what's considered other charges and credits from interest on taxes, interest on investments, SURF merchants, income from surf merchants license, fees, clerk fees, collector's fees, tax maintenance fund, commission. So, and basically it's, we were off a difference of $40.20. That was in actually clerk's fees that are charged for every personal property transaction. We know where those, what those are and where they're at. We just haven't, they're trying to get that resolved in the system so it balances completely within the software package. Any questions?
Nope.
If not, I would ask for your approval.
Just an inquiry, Larry, on the protested, is that at 442,000, is that a sort of a normal number?
It's a low number compared to.
It is, compared to prior years?
Yeah.
Okay.
We closed out Ameren's protest last year. Up until then, we had about over $4 million in that protested taxes. This year, we have some big box stores that are protesting, as well as a couple of entities that feel that they're tax exempt and they did not get a tax exempt status. So they're protesting those. One of those is actually in court right now.
Is there any hotel money in there? Did we settle all those? I think,
Oh, yes, there is. Atrium, is that one of them? And the Marriott, yeah. I believe that's the two.
okay.
Good.
Okay. So, do we do a motion to accept?
I think so.
I'll make a motion to accept the collector's
Annual settlement.
annual settlement for the 2021 year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
County Park Trail Connector Project Concurrence Award.
Okay, I sent you all the information yesterday on this. So on March 1st, the county commission agreed to proceed with the project to cooperate with J.C. Parks to build the connector trail from the Fairground Acre subdivision through the park to the county park loop around the lake. Worked with David Bangy at the city on that. They bid it on March 22nd with Spalding Constructors that read low at $54,334. This is about 18.5% below the engineer's estimate. The contractor is new to the city and county. David reviewed references and looked at the bids and recommends award to this contractor. And County Public Works Department agrees with David's recommendation. This project will be it'll be administered by the city. It'll be a 50-50 cost share between the county and the Jefferson City Parks and Recreation Commission. And they will award, the Parks Commission will award the project on April 12th. So we would just like the county commission to concur with this award to Spalding Constructors for $54,334.
Doing good.
I'll make a motion to agree to the county park trail connector and the county's involvement with the city at the 50-50.
Yeah, that's the second agenda item.
Oh, I'm
Discusses
sorry.
that,
Okay.
sorry.
So what am I doing here?
Concurrence and award.
Concurrence and award. That's my motion. As amended, adjusted, restated.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to abstain because it is part of the family that bought my business, so I don't know on signing.
Get one, you pick who signs.
Just abstain if one of us.
I am
sign.
abstaining, you get to sign, so, but yes, you're good, we're good.
Go ahead and call the vote. I don't think we voted.
Call for the
Or did
vote.
we
We did
voted
vote,
yes?
we voted.
Okay.
And then I
Making
said I
sure.
would abstain.
Okay, the next agenda item.
Yeah. Approval and signing of MOU with Parks and Recreation Commission project.
So this is the agreement with the Jefferson City Parks and Recreation Commission to put in place the funding and the mechanism for us to reimburse them. The parks will pay for all the cost up front. once we know what the final contract amount is, they will send us an invoice and we'll reimburse them at 50% of the total cost. So, and like I said, this is just the agreement to set in place everything that needs to be done to achieve all that. And I'd recommend approval of this agreement.
Yep, good.
I'll offer a motion to approve and sign the MOU with Parks and Rec Commission project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Eric, where's that funding coming from?
Oh, here, Warren. The parks part of the 50% of the sales tax.
Okay. Signing of independent agreement with case manager.
So the case manager for workers' comp, the current lady that we've been using for my time, no, not that long, but, she is retiring, so I did find another lady who would be willing to help us out for $70 an hour. So, and Jean Campbell, the lady that I had before, recommended her. There's not too many case manager people that work in the workers' comp field. So I'd like to extend that contract to her. And again, it's $70 an hour. It's just an independent contract with her. And she's got all her legal paperwork here. And Jill has reviewed this
I
agreement.
put it together, actually.
Yeah. It's kind of the same one we had before. But she's an hourly rate.
Do we ever have an issue with paying independent contractors by the hour, with the IRS saying if you're paying by the hour, you're really hiring them as opposed to?
Because the whole thing between an independent contractor and an employee mainly hinges on control. So she sets her own hours, she uses her own car, or her telephone, or her computer, and we're paying her to do a job and she decides how she's going to do the job. So that's the main difference between an independent contractor and an employee.
Right, she uses her tools,
Yes,
not county tools.
right.
There's about 22 items the IRS looks at with respect to whether you're independent or an employee, and people get caught in that, or employers, businesses, governments get caught in that occasionally. Okay.
I don't envision this that putting more $2,500 to $3,000 a year at the most.
And was this hourly rate comparable to her predecessor?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to sign the independent agreement with the case manager, who is Pamela Ruckman, RN, Central Missouri Medical Case Management.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Appointment of Harry Otto to the Midmo Housing Agency.
Make a motion to appoint Harry Otto to the Minmo Housing Agency before he changes his mind.
I second. All in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
Chicken. Okay, we did Patagonia. Discussion of county facilities landscape budget.
So a component of the new Parks Department beginning in 2022 is maintenance and improvement of county facilities landscaping. As we develop our Parks Department into what we want it to be, landscaping is a component of that, and our people will be trained and capable of doing that type of work. And so we felt like that would be a good thing for the county, and that was approved in the budget to do that. And a couple of weeks ago, I was up here and mentioned that we would be assessing the different facilities and kind of getting a rough idea of what we think needed to be done for maintenance and improvement. We've done that, and at the time we were putting together our budget last year, we loosely assumed that costs of maintaining the various facilities would just be handled by that specific facility, whether that be the Pringer Center or the health department, just out of those budgets. But after looking at it a little more and thinking a little more internally on it, we think that the county would be best served if this all came out of the parks budget. That way we could track expenses and have accountability for that. We would track it in Cartograph, our asset management program, and budget and plan off of that in following years. So we looked at the facilities, and we have a recommendation. The big one's the health department. And should have mentioned earlier, when we began our discussions about the Parks Department, we met with J.C. Parks and got their buy-in to assist us as we build this in various things. They have a wealth of knowledge in running parks departments, including landscape and maintenance of that, and got some feedback from them, and they agreed that they'd be willing to help us out as needed as kind of just a partnership, and we kind of trade services back and forth anyway. So a good avenue to go down there. And so we looked at the health department first, and in full disclosure, my wife Stacy Landwehr works for J.C. Parks. She is the supervisor over landscape and beautification, so naturally it was a good fit there. She assisted us with designing a landscape plan for the health department, and that's included in your packet there. And so that would be recommendation at this point, is to improve the landscape of the health department. And it can be done in phases. A full build out of everything as designed is about $4,000. Phased in approach, about $2,700. And it could even be a little less than that. We would also mulch all the areas in front of the building. There's a lot of mulch from tree work that had been done over the past few years around the building and the sides. Just leave that like it is for now, and just take care of the entryway into the building. And that would be remulched. At the Pringer Center, we went through that with Toby, and basically what we want to do is just remove any dead plants and shrubs. Don't replace at this time. Just let's kind of maintain what we got there, remulch everything. We'll consider landscape improvements in the future. We don't want to get too much this year as we're building this new department. Just kind of go at it and pick off the main one, which is the health department. And then we'll get into the Pringer Center possibly next year and improve some areas. It has had some landscape work done, and just needs a little maintenance work and some remulching. The rest of the courthouse, we would recommend removing and replacing any dead shrubs or trees, and then mulch all the landscape beds this spring. Also visited with y'all last week about having a lawn application company come and treat the yard, and that was agreed to do that. The courthouse annex, don't do anything at this time, as well as Carnegie, because of the improvements coming there. We would just let it go for now. 209 Adams, there's some little planter boxes in front of the building. Just take care of those, cut back and mulch as needed. Sheriff's office and jail, just maintain what's currently in place, as well as the EMS building, which I don't think is too much there. So basically, we want to focus on the health department this year, take care of what we have at the other facilities, and just gradually improve over time as budgets and situations exist. So summary of the costs is roughly about $5,900 to $7,500, depending on the full build out or the partial phased in approach of the landscaping at the health department. The bulk of that is the plants and shrubs. Those prices are constantly changing, especially right now. It's a pretty volatile market, so included in a 25% contingency in those costs for that. So, as I said earlier, we did not really include any of this in our budget that we proposed and was approved for this year. We just assumed any work would be just done or paid for out of those specific department budgets. But we feel that going forward, it'd be best if we just kept this all within our budget. That way we can track it and know what we have to work with. And that would require a budget adjustment at some point. We have enough in there now to cover initial expenses, but if the agreement is to proceed with this plan or some variation of it, then we would, when we know about how we're tracking in our park maintenance budget, we have $10,000 set aside for park maintenance, these types of things, and we would just have to increase that as we know where we're going to stand on these costs. So just wanted to throw it out there for discussion, get feedback, and just see what y'all, where you want to be on this.
So you're wanting to get around $6,000 to $7,500 added to the parks budget for maintenance and doing some landscaping.
That would be this year. The bulk of that, like I said, is the actual plantings at the health department. Once those are done, next year it wouldn't be quite as bad unless we had another area we wanted to focus on. But yes.
So you probably need a trailer load of mulch every year. I mean, that would be something. And the lawn treatment we've not done before, apparently.
No, not that
Or
one.
where did that come from to come out of maintenance?
If it had been done in the past, it would have came out of maintenance, but I would propose it all be just run through this budget.
Because normally, I guess we would take this from maintenance. Right?
In the past, those types of costs would have come from maintenance. I think it's a good idea if they're gonna be the one purchasing and doing it, to have it under the control of the Parks Department. My suggestion would be to use a separate line from your parks maintenance, so you can track that cost from year to year, and not include it in that parks maintenance cost that's already existing.
Facilities, landscape maintenance or something
Yes.
like that, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
The biggest difference is it's gonna be the public works staff. Under parks is gonna be doing the work rather than the maintenance staff doing it. So keeping that all in the same area would make sense under
Yeah,
parks, so.
it makes for a cleaner approval of invoices and things like that. I know we get into the situation where maintenance purchases something, but it comes out of, say, the sheriff's budget, and they're paying for something they're not exactly sure what it is. It's a cleaner approval process for it to be the department that's actually making that purchase.
So where would this money come from if we added the 7,500 in there?
Contingency.
I mean, I think it's a low cost to add to the curb appeal of our buildings and make people wanna come in there when a lot of times they don't want to. So, yeah, do we need any kind of action to move forward on that, or just?
You can tell us what amount you want.
Depends on what you want to do with the health department.
7,500 is a nice round number.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, your contingency's a little less than 25%, but I think when you run out of that, then if we have to do more, buy more trees, shrubs, or flowers, we can do that in coming years. But I think this gets you a good start.
It's a relatively small amount, when you think of big picture. I'd recommend $7,500, but allow us to kind of phase in the landscape at the health department. I don't think we need to go full bore right now, and I'd rather not get too in over our heads. This is new to the guys doing the work, not so much to me, but we don't want to put too much on them right away. So we'll phase that in. The 7,500 would give us plenty to work with. Ideally, we wouldn't hit that number. We'd have a little additional left, but to account for other things that could come up too. So I think it's a safe number.
Okay?
We'll get a new general ledger account number, and then I'll give you the transfer. For
Yep.
75.
okay.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Approval of GIS plotter from Capital.
All right, I had put in my budget request for a new plotter. The plotter that I've ended up requesting is over the budget amount that I asked for. And so I had sent you guys some information about it. I think it's gonna provide us more flexibility and be more quality and potentially, I think, just a lot less headache for me. The one I have right now has been a lot of headache. So I think it'll be much better going forward. So the amount of $47.93 for the plotter is what I'm requesting. And then additionally, my budget for office supplies does not cover the cartridges for this. So I'm requesting the additional amount for the cartridges. And to begin with, when we get the plotter in, the cartridges are gonna be $911.40, and that's from Office Depot. The Marco ones were about $20 cartridge higher. So I think it's gonna be more cost effective to use our own channels to get the ink. So approval of the plotter.
So we had like 3,500 in there originally, right, for the
I think it
plotter.
was like 3,000 or, I can't remember what it was.
It was a substantial amount difference, and that's
Yeah.
what I was looking at, and the things that you named off. I mean,
Yeah, the ink cartridges are quite a bit larger for this plotter, so it's gonna last a lot longer. It's a postscript plotter. It goes up to 44 inches. The one I have right now only does up to 36 inches. I do, other than GIS stuff, I also print out posters and signs and things like that for county offices when they request it. So this is gonna help me have a more quality product as far as that goes. There's other media that we can use with this plotter. The more like, more poly type of plotter material, if we ever wanted, print signs or banners or whatever, might be an option there.
okay.
Anybody have any questions?
I thought you made a good case on the info you sent to us previously, so it made sense.
It's a rule. He was being awful quiet over there, had me nervous too.
Yeah,
Okay.
You guys just give her permission, we'll go ahead and do a PO for her.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Do
fine.
they need to sign that, there's a place to sign on the back page?
That'd be great if it's closed.
Yeah. It's closed.
Or they probably should vote if you're signing something.
Okay.
I like mine better.
All right, you good, Harry?
Yes, I'm good.
Make a motion. We approve the purchase of the HP Design Jet Z6.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the ink is okay too then to use?
We're just buying that through our,
Yeah, we'll just have to
Supplies,
transfer
right.
it in her budget.
okay.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to buy it and not have ink to print. I mean,
exactly.
no offense, but that just,
I just wanted to make
that,
sure
yeah, that
everything,
doesn't,
all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted.
Do you need that copy or not? It's kinda like having a treadmill at home to hang your clothes on, right? Am I the only one?
okay.
Thank you.
Well, we had approval of ventilator purchase from EMS Capital, but our chief, oh, he's back. You made him mad, and he left.
So one of the things that has come out of the pandemic is that there's been a shift in emphasis on pre-hospital medicine to deliver advanced respiratory care. So one of the things that as an organization we were well positioned to do was to have some basic tools to help us through the front half of the pandemic. Now that we've kind of learned what the expectations are and what it will be moving forward, we really have to ask ourselves, do we have the proper equipment to handle these more complex scenarios that we're consistently being placed in? So early on in my arrival, I identified the need to upgrade our ability to deliver ventilation to patients who are having severe respiratory illnesses. We've talked at length about this in ARPA funding. I know obviously we've continued to work through that. However, we've reached a point within our operations where I feel the need that we need to make this decision sooner rather than later. As we've discussed, this still is in our ARPA request, and if that does go through, we could reimburse ourselves of this purchase. However, I would suggest that in the interest of getting these devices in place as soon as possible, that we make this purchase out of contingency of our capital fund, which Kristen feels comfortable with. So today, this request is for 11 Hamilton T1 ventilators off of government contract for a price of $200,600.84. These devices are the top of the line. They're used in both the hospital and transport setting. They come fully functional with a lot of technology that analyzes the patient breath by breath, makes ventilator changes, systematically based on what the computer and the patient compliance of their lung capacity is. So it really does improve patient care. Even the best clinician can't monitor somebody breath by breath, and these ventilators will do that. So this really does position us as providing the best possible care, not only pre-hospital, but in the hospital environment as well.
Yeah, I think you talked to it. It truly can be a matter of life and death, so I'm fine.
Give me that price tag again, Eric.
$200,600.84. So as you will see, this is a savings of about $18,000 over the quote that I passed along previously. That development came as of yesterday. We were able to secure an additional discount in that amount.
Okay.
So you have the wrong one attached probably.
Yes. This is like 4 o'clock yesterday developed.
I would like to recommend that you guys look pretty quickly at setting aside a portion of the ARPA funding for these internal purchases. We do have quarterly reporting that is due to the feds. So the cleanest we can make that as far as reporting when we actually purchase is the best case scenario. So in circumstances like this, if that's something that you want to do with those internal dollars, you can do it fairly quickly and we can report it when we pay for it. I don't know what that dollar amount is that you want to do, but I would seriously look at setting aside a portion of that funding for these types of internal purchases.
Makes sense.
Does it complicate your life if we buy it with contingency and then reimburse contingency with ARPA?
Only if you exceed the quarter that you make the purchase in. So
What?
it makes it more complicated if you're going to reimburse yourself in a different quarter than you made the actual purchase.
Well, we're early in the quarter now, right?
Basically, we have 85 days to.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, if you're going to make those two types of transactions in the same quarter, it doesn't complicate life, but if you're going to
Okay.
cross over quarters, it does.
I think since we're early in the quarter, we can do the contingency now, but we got to, set the alarm to go off the 15th of June or thereabouts that say, hey, we have to decide whether we want this in ARPA or not.
Right, and you saying you're going to make that purchase today doesn't mean that you're going to pay for it today either. So
Okay.
you could make that decision in between the time you accept the quote and actually pay for the purchase.
Chief, does this replace some ventilators that have some value?
Yeah, so this would include a total of $5,500 trade-in value on the ventilators that we currently have.
I think that was on that other report
Yes.
or schedule. That's right.
And ultimately, it would be nice if these came out of ARPA funding. However, we believe our contingency is in a spot where we could purchase these either way.
Just come out of capital, you just have that much less to spend on other things, but I think it's directly related to the
agree.
COVID
Oh, I do
stuff.
too, yeah.
I will defer to the numbers man over here and our auditor to work on what's cleaner, easiest for you all to do reporting and
I think you're gonna have
auditing.
other purchases that come up. I think the juvenile department's review of their building is another project that you could say is somewhat due to ARPA because they're limiting the number of people in rooms and things like that, that you could say that that is a project as well that you want to look into due to somewhat COVID. So as these projects come up, it would be nice to have something set aside in ARPA for.
But that's just, if we could do that today as ARPA, it's just that we haven't already built a line in our ARPA schedule.
Right.
And the only risk I really see is telling the ARPA advisory committee that you've got, we made a decision for you.
Well, and I think that that's why I'm bringing it up today. I think you have a meeting with them scheduled for next week. If
Right.
there's something you want to discuss with them and set aside that dollar amount in that meeting, that would move the process along. And like I said, that would create, where you could pay this invoice when it actually comes in out of ARPA funding if that's what you choose.
But would that still allow him to order them today? 'Cause
Yeah,
I wanna,
I
I wanna
think-
order them today.
We
if-
can do the purchase order out of his contingency funding.
Okay.
At this point, it's just, we need to make sure when we go to pay it that we
Okay.
correct it to where.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to acquire the ventilators for $200,600.84 out of contingency, with the determination to be made at a later time with respect to treating it as an ARPA purchase
Second.
or expenditure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Hey, Chief, how did you find out about the grant funding for the substation that we're doing for EMS that we applied for?
Let me circle back.
The reason I'm asking is because we have other things that we're looking at doing. Pringer Center, Public Works is needing a place, and wash station and stuff, and if there's grants that we can.
You're asking how we got started in that process?
Yeah, did
Yeah,
you
so that
find
was
that?
identified by Commissioner Bushman through mid-Mo.
And I have Luke, I have Luke looking for some other monies as well.
All right,
So
kudos.
since you are on the Economic Development Committee, we need to talk to Luke, because I've got him looking for some other money for 911 too.
I would offer that with the excellent job that Lincoln Brown has done for us, he would be a resource to contact for the Pringer Center.
And he's through the RPC.
Yes, he is our RPC
And
person.
So that's why I didn't know how many we can throw in his lap to do at one time, if all of a sudden we throw two of them. I mean, he buzzed through these other ones, the stormwater out there and on the west side too. I mean, he got some stuff done for us.
I attended a Mid-Mo regional planning meeting in Ashland about 2 weeks ago, and their executive director mentioned a number of these 5 county projects that Lincoln had going at the same time. He's excellent when it comes to filling out these reports and getting them through the hurdles.
So, but does he identify them? Because in the instance we were talking about, you found the one for the EMS substation, so.
Well, I'd been talking to David Bach for a couple of years, 2-3 years. And then he said, I might have one that we might be able to use through the city. And then I also emailed both of them.
I just need to step out and take an operations phone call.
About
thanks,
maybe
Chief.
finding some for 911. They didn't think there was any, but with all the federal money out there, I think Luke Holzschneider, I think we need to talk to everybody, anybody, and see, because there's a lot of money out there that
Well,
we
that's
can,
my point, is
potentially we can use.
You guys approved that and maybe signed on that.
I think we did approve this.
Did you?
Yeah. Do you need a
Yeah.
signature on this, or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
sign the bottom of that card.
They just outvoted you, Sam. You have to sign it now.
Initial each page.
Okay, well, I'm trying to figure out how we go about finding some of these things, you know, is it just sitting down and if they fall on your lap, sometimes that happens, but to go out and get some of this stuff, we can make our money go a lot farther if we're matching funds somewhere else too. And I know that's what the state had mentioned as well, so.
If you don't mind signing this quote too on the EMS equipment laptops.
Sam said no.
Well,
What'd y'all say?
Yes, Sam.
Okay. Sam, they outvoted you again.
Otherwise, we'll make you go on BS.
Oh, gosh. Okay, do we have anything else? There's the closed session was supposedly, I had called it, and,
Oh, I put it on
I-
for 11 a.m.
yeah, I did not, ask that that be put on there, so I would just.
I did yesterday at 10:45. We had 24-hour notice, so
Do you still need that closed session today or no?
I was, yeah. It can be real quick.
Just recess till then.
Recess till 11.
recess until then.
You got anything else? Okay. Motion, we stand in recess until 11 a.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I need to talk to you.
Did you find your job description?
No, just personnel stuff.